All right. The Parasite Pill number two. So, as you guys might have noticed, we've been kind of beating this parasite thing lately. Uh, but today, I'm going to kind of go a little bit deeper than we have thus far. We talked about in our previous post, Parasite Pill number one, and the gut being your second brain under kind of the whole Health Red Pill series. But today, I'm going to take it a step further, a little bit further than we've gone thus far. So, kind of touching back on the theories that we brought up in the last post. Get ready for this. This is going to be a eye opener for sure. So buckle up your chin straps. Let's get it going. All right. First things first. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. Not licensed in medicine or anything like that. So again, this is not medical advice. This is simply my opinion and view on the subject. So if you want to make any changes in your lifestyle or diet, definitely consider talking to a healthcare provider first. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's just recap what we've talked about and what we've learned thus far. So we know that we have a second brain, and we know that it's within your gut. We know that humans are the only mammals to not be regularly dewormed. Uh, and we know that over 3.5 billion people within the whole globe have some level of intestinal parasite going onto their body. So what we've kind of come to at this point is kind of two theories. What if your mind, thoughts, and actions were being controlled via parasitic infections? And two, what if your biggest health concerns were based on intestinal parasitic infections? And what if there's parties out there that know and understand this and essentially uh, add fuel to the fire on this, or want this to happen to you so that they can control you and keep you under control. Now, I know it sounds crazy, and you're going to have to bear with me for a little bit as I build up the case to support this theory, but definitely stick along with me. I got some interesting stuff for y'all. So, first things first, vitamin C. Is vitamin C necessary for a healthy immune system? Yes, we all know that. Who is the only mammal that can't produce its own vitamin C? It's the human, and it's entitled, that condition is called hypoascorbemia. Basically, humans can't produce their own vitamin C. So wouldn't that make us more susceptible to parasite infections? But at the same time, if we can't produce our own vitamin C, unlike all of the other mammals out there, and we're not regularly given any kind of routine treatment for parasites, wouldn't that be kind of an issue? And not to mention, doesn't vitamin C deficiency result in things like depression, schizophrenia, psychiatric disorders, gastrointestinal disease, being tired, death, and even cancer? So makes you wonder, what is the actual cause of these types of conditions? Is it based on factors associated with vitamin C or not? Let's keep going. So alcohol, as we all know, alcohol is everywhere. You see it everywhere. You see it in the sports games. You see it when you go out to the club on the weekends. You see it at dinner time. People are drinking as much as possible. However, um, doesn't alcohol prevent you from absorbing vitamin C? Yes. So touching back on that, if humans, right as it stands, can't produce their own vitamin C in their body, um, and we're drinking alcohol, a substance that makes it hard for us to absorb vitamin C, wouldn't that compromise our immune system? And wouldn't parasites be able to thrive in an environment of someone who can't produce their own vitamin C, so has a weakened immune system, and somebody who's drinking so they can't even absorb the vitamin C that they're getting for their daily from their daily diet? So leads you to believe, what is the real reason behind promoting alcohol consumption? Sugar. So going into it, sugar is highly subsidized industry. We all know in America, your diet, you're eating a lot of sugar day in, day out. Now, parasites, that is their primary source of energy. So your parasites are eating sugar. Actually, it's said that parasites are what could be causing you to crave sugar because that's what they need to eat. Now, on the flip side, parasites can't survive on fats alone, but I don't know if you guys remember like the 90s, early 2000s when they had this whole um, campaign against fats in exchange for sugars, so to speak. So could a tactic like this could have reduced our fat consumption while also increasing our sugar consumption across the board as a country? If this were to be the case, what would this mean in terms of parasites, and what's going on in your body? If they have a problem against the trans fats, I don't know if you see the chip bags, how they all say, oh, no trans fats and no this and that fat in it, but there's a lot of sugar in it. What kind of effect would this have on us if we're eating so much sugar, the primary source of energy for parasites? So it makes you wonder, what are the real purpose of the sugar subsidies in the United States to the tune of $3 billion a year? Promiscuity. So another thing constantly pushed onto us as a society, rap music, pop culture, just in everything. It's we're pretty indoctrinated in terms of the goal is to be constantly doing it with as many people as possible. Now, with that being said, there are definitely some parasites that are sexually transmitted, but one thing that might not have made the list that happens to be on this list is the intestinal parasites. Oops, sorry about that. Intestinal parasites are actually can be transmitted sexually. So makes you wonder, why do they want us to be promiscuous? Now, stick with me. I know all this is still pretty high level and you might not be sold yet, but it gets deeper. Let's keep going. Mental illness. Now, how many of you all have heard of the condition called toxoplasmosis? Toxoplasmosis are natural parasites of cats. It's said to cause rage, impulsiveness, and even mental illness. Most people only know toxoplasma as the reason pregnant ladies aren't supposed to clean kitty litter. In recent times, this parasite has garnered quite a reputation as a mind-controlling zombie parasite. And this source is the Scientific American, which you will see in the sources if you don't believe me. But this parasite was described as a mind-controlling zombie parasite. I'm going to say that again. Over here, you think about the term crazy cat lady. Really is interesting as to how she got crazy. Did that happen because of the toxoplasmosis parasite? Yes or no? Who's to say, right? So again, this parasite is thought to cause repression of fear from predators, increase sexual desire, and sexual perversion. So one area that we see the toxoplasmosis play out is so the cats are infected with toxoplasmosis via the infected rats. And then once that cat has that infection, when it urinates, the rats that are infected with toxoplasmosis are attracted to that cat's urine. So they actually kind of commit suicide in a sense because of their quote unquote sexual perversion, being attracted to their predator's urine. So that's a little interesting. Also, one point to add in on this toxoplasmosis thing is it's they say that a lot of us have it, period, as it stands, but it's largely asymptomatic unless you have cancer or AIDS, which is quite interesting as well. So again, toxoplasmosis, the mind-controlling zombie parasite. Maybe that has something, or maybe my theory isn't so crazy after all. Now let's keep moving forward, guys. Mental illness. What is mental illness? Mental illness is a health condition involving changes in emotion, thinking, or behavior. So why do antidepressants not work in long-term studies? Check out this connection. So, and you see my source, but analysis of the published data and unpublished data that were hidden by drug companies reveals that most, if not all, the benefits are due to placebo effect. In the study, antidepressants and the placebo effect. So again, these are government sources if you want to check it out and look it up. But basically, if if antidepressants more or less have the placebo effect, it's a little interesting. Let's think about that. So, looking at it, human emotions result from chemical secretions from your glands. So, think like oxytocin, um, when you're happy or elated, or when a woman has a baby. Well, parasites actually feed on those chemical secretions from those glands. So with that being said, the presence of parasites feeding on a chemical secretion would essentially cause a chemical imbalance, meaning if you have parasites and they're eating up all of the secretions, wouldn't that reduce the amount that you have overall? So then when you look at the antidepressant and what that does, wouldn't that just be simply giving you an artificial increase in the hormones? Because you are taking this pill or tablet or whatever, and it's getting you back to normal. Now, if that's something that parasites eat, all you've just done is put more food for the parasites in your body to continue eating on, which would result in more parasites within your host, in which wouldn't they deplete those chemicals that you're already lacking even more if you have more parasites in your body? Now, wouldn't that require your doctor to increase your dosage of antidepressants? Something to think about, just in the whole context of mental illness. Again, we still got a lot more to go. So I know this might be sounding a little wild, but we're starting to connect the dots here. Now, fluoride. Why is our drinking water fluoridated? What is fluorosis? This is when you have too much fluoride in your water. When sodium fluoride is placed into drinking water, is it detectable by taste or smell? No. When placed in drinking water, can sodium fluoride lead to fluorosis? Yes. So right here, we have another government study. Conversely, it has been reported that in geographic zones where fluorosis is endemic, there's an increase in the presence of bacterial, viral, and parasitic infections in humans or in wild or farm animals that have been intoxicated. So when you have too much fluoride, or when you've ingested too much fluoride, there is an increase in the presence of bacterial, viral, or parasitic infections. Again, as we move further down, as mentioned previously, the individuals who present fluorosis are more susceptible to presenting bacterial, viral, and parasitic infections. Huh. Makes you wonder, why do we really have fluoridated drinking water? Food. So looking at food and farm animals, there is a dewormer, Fembenzadol. Does it eliminate parasites without side effects in humans? Yes, right here we see, or sorry, without side effects in humans. Right here we see a study by the European Medicines Agency that says no points of concern relevant for the safety of fenbenzidol in humans could be identified. Is fenbenzidol successful in removing parasites from any mammal? Over here in the study, we have that it's successfully removing parasites from mammals as well as non-mammals, including reptiles and fish. So again, is fenbenzidol safe for use in humans? Yes. Now, moving forward, if fenbenzidol has no side effects and is safe for human consumption, why was an extensive study funded to determine how long animals used for human consumption must be weaned off fenbenzidol in order to ensure the removal of fenbenzidol from the host before slaughter? So again, as we see right here, withdrawal periods, same study, European Medicines Agency, based on the provided residue depletion study in tissues, a withdrawal period of 6 days for edible tissues can be established for a panicure from chicken. So basically what that's saying is, why does it have to be flushed out of the animal's body if it's safe for humans to consume? Interesting. Why does this dewormer or parasite pill have to be flushed from the animal before we can consume it? So if fenbenzidol has no side effects and is safe for human consumption, why is it labeled not for human consumption? And if fenbenzidol has no side effects and is safe, why are we requiring it that it be removed from the food that's meant for our consumption? And if you look at my image over on the right, you'll see a name that has been quite popular over the past couple of years when we were in a certain period that caused a massive uproar. Makes you wonder why the powers that be or the system had such a massive uproar over that word being mentioned or said or offered as a cure to a certain condition or an alleviation to a certain condition. Makes you wonder, why did the horse dewormer cause such an uproar? And why did people go out and lie, make up so many lies about this horse dewormer that's virtually, what is the word? Virtually symptom free. Interesting. Maybe my theory isn't as crazy as it sounds now, especially looking at that. And especially whenever you compare the treatment of fembenzidol, or looking back right here, panicure, this word, especially when you compare it to the treatment of glyphosate. So glyphosate is it is used in herbicides all around the world, especially in the United States. Many farmers use this in food production as a whole. It is often used on fruits and veggies, glyphosate resistant crops, and planting lawns, greenhouses, etc. So what does glyphosate do in your gut? It could interfere with normal muscle activity to the point where partially digested foods pile up in the large intestines for several days before you're able to have a bowel movement, as well as increase the level of stomach acid. So does your thus damaged digestive tract require or result in um, you not being able to absorb vitamins and minerals required for a strong immune system? Maybe, maybe not. Now, is glyphosate sprayed directly onto crops that we eat? Yes. Is glyphosate sprayed onto crops immediately before harvest, meaning that we are going to absorb glyphosate into our food that we're about to eat? So that's kind of interesting. So we have fembenzidol, the substance that harms parasites inside humans, um, illegal for human consumption, and we have to make sure that we get that out of the animals before they're sold to us to eat. But at the same time, glyphosate, the substance that helps parasites by damaging our digestive tract, that's legally mandated for human consumption and sprayed onto our foods. Interesting, but there's more. Let's keep going. So I'm going to tiptoe around this. But are there things that are placed into your vaccines? Yes. Are those things that are placed into your vaccines, or they're called excipients? Are they for the purpose of targeting and temporarily focusing your immune system on the antigens to invoke a stronger immune response? Yes. What are adjuvants? A substance that enhances the body's immune response to antigen. What is reactogenicity? That is the concept that vaccines are expected to cause adverse reaction. So by temporarily distracting the immune system with the substance that enhances the body's immune response, is the immune system less capable of reacting to other threats? Could this be cause for a rapid increase in parasitic infections? So, a little interesting. We have a vaccine that causes, that quote unquote could distract the immune system, making you less capable of reacting to other threats, causing that could potentially cause a rapid increase in parasitic infection. Interesting. Also, if we look over to the right, we see that while there is so much resources, dollars pushed into creating and developing new vaccines, we don't spend very much money on to increase our sanitation, clean water, despite the fact that increased water treatment and clean water systems has much more of an effect on reducing disease and illness. And think about the Flint water crisis, how we just had a whole town, whole little city of people going without clean water, but we are able to get, you know, what's created very quickly to stop disease. So that makes you wonder, what is the real purpose of those? Aluminum. So is aluminum sprayed over major metropolitan areas to stop the whole concept of global warming? Yes. Do aluminum particles eventually fall to the earth? Yes. Does that aluminum dust enter your body whenever you're breathing? Yes. Don't they also put aluminum into vaccines so that they can inject them directly? And are parasites activated by the presence of heavy metals in the host body? Yes. And as you can see, as the study right here, trends in parasitology, parasites as accumulation indicators of heavy metal pollution. They actually use parasites to identify where there's heavy metal pollution. And furthermore, when you kill off parasites in your body, it's actually going to release all of those heavy metals that they've been accumulating in their body. So that's one concern that you have to watch out for when you're doing a level of parasite cleanse. So again, moving forward, keeping it pushing. What is the real reason for putting aluminum into our bodies? A little interesting. So lastly, some key takeaways. Fact, there is a um, there is not a recommended parasite schedule for human beings, despite every other species having that comes in direct contact with humans having one. Interesting fact. It's been made illegal to treat humans with some of the most effective methods for treating parasites. Fact. Parasite medications are intentionally prevented from entering food meant from human consumption. Fact, humans have a naturally weak immune system due to their inability to produce vitamin C. Fact, human immune system has been weakened through a variety of methods like fluoride to the water, heavy metals in the air, adjuvants like aluminum placed into, you know what's, alcohol, and promiscuity pushed all throughout. Fact, the spread of parasites are encouraged by way of sugars being added to the food, um, addictive psychiatric drugs being peddled, promiscuity pushed in the mainland, glyphosate being added to the food, and Fembenzadol being removed for the food. So again, why do all other mammals have recommended parasite treatment schedules and humans do not? Especially considering how these parasites could have a massive impact on our gut health. For one, in the best of cases, but in the worst of cases, having an impact on our gut health, so causing us not to absorb certain nutrients and impacting our mental health and potentially even controlling us, like making us into a freaking zombie, like we saw in the slide around toxoplasmosis. So just something to consider. I know we had a little bit of fun here, kind of going through this theory, call it tinfoil hat or whatnot, but it is something to consider. And the fact remains, there are parasites out there. You probably have them in your intestines right now at some point or another. They're hard to kill, and they could potentially be having an impact on your behavior and your day-to-day, not just from a health standpoint, but from the actual actions you take, the thoughts you make, the risks that you take, as we've seen based on this evidence, much of it being government studies and very impactful sources like Scientific America. So again, something to consider, but letting you all know we do have a cleanse built just for this cause. We're calling it our Parasite Eliminator Cleanse. It contains 3 herbs that are designed to knock out parasites. This will kill 99% of parasites. It's an 18-day cleanse because they do not go away easy. It also targets the eggs that they lay. Oftentimes, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but look it up. And everything that I've said, look up for yourself, Google it. um the parasites that are in your intestines oftentimes are aligned with the schedule of the moon. So on full moon is actually a lot of times when those eggs are laid and hatched. So and again, like I mentioned before, when you kill off these parasites, they're going to release off all the toxins, heavy metals, etc., that's in their bodies. So that's why we have that's why we put this formula together to not only kill off the eggs, kill off the parasites as a whole, 99% of them, but also help you when those parasites put up that fight and release all the nasty stuff inside of them. Um, so yeah, that is available for pre-order right now. We're going to be taking orders in advance of its release date, which will be the end of the month. Right now, people that sign up are able to get it half off. Definitely just shoot us an email if you're interested in checking it out and giving it a try. And we'll go from there. But thanks for watching this video. Again, shoot us an email if you want to try it out. Let us know that you want the Parasite Pill, and we'll get you on the list to get that going. There's only going to be 10 of them available, so get on there fast. And then again, here are all my sources. Definitely check them out if you're interested in learning more. Also, we have some guides and some resources that go a little bit deeper on these theories as to how parasites could play a massive factor in cancer diagnostics and things like that, as well as mental health and control as a whole. But if you want those, just reach out and we'll make sure to get them your way. But nonetheless, thanks for watching this video, guys, and we'll catch you all on the flip side. Have a good one.